go back, I don't know how far it is, maybe a few months, a few weeks, how long you've been involved with St Richard's Hospice and how you came to be involved with it?
In the last 7 weeks, and it was because I've been discharged from Queen Elizabeth feeling very, very poorly. And they came in with all guns firing and have looked after me ever since.
What do they do for you?
Mostly they've ordered me a mattress. They've sent in lovely women to help me with my showering and washing my hair and things like that, and generally chat to me and just take my mind off everything.
Are these the nurses?
These are the nursing assistants that come, and then I have a specialist nurse as well who comes to do things for me. And she's coming to see me again.
Nursing care, how often do you have someone coming in to see you?
Twice a week it's been up to now, but I think they can perhaps ease off from me because with their care, I'm getting so much better.
And you're going to be hopefully getting some voluntary help as well, aren't you?
Yes.
What are you hoping the volunteers will come and help you with?
Well, mostly the garden, I hope. I haven't, that's something's going to be discussed. Also, I've gone to the hospice to a thing called Monday Matters for the first time yesterday, which I found very interesting. I went with a very open mind, prepared not to be impressed, and I was very impressed.
And what were you doing at Monday Matters?
Well, we're just discussing ourselves and how we feel, and so we were all very supportive, and it was quite jolly as well, which is lovely.
The fact that you've got nursing care coming to see you, specialist nurse as well, what difference does that make? Where would you be without that? Would you be back in hospital, do you think? What would happen?
Well, I hope I wouldn't be back in hospital, but you never know, do you? Because they've been so good and so helpful, and they're sort of one step ahead of you all the time. You know, if you think of something or say something, and they say, oh, we can do that, you know, and they do. And it's done very quickly.
How important is it for you to be able to stay in your own home?
Oh, immensely. Immensely important.
Why is that?
I just love being in my own home. And, well, you're in charge of your own destiny a little bit. And you can boss your husband around too. When he was in... when I was in Queen Elizabeth, it was a long way for him to come, you know, so it wasn't always convenient. He wasn't able to come every day, and that sort of, every day, and so that part of it is lovely.
A lot of people don't know about hospice at home. You think St Richard's Hospice, it's the building that people go to. Were you aware of this?
I fortunately was, because part of my job when I was working was as a nursing auxiliary with the district nursing service. So I was aware of it starting. I was in the area when the St Richard's started, so I've been quite aware of it. Never thought I'd be using it, but I'm very impressed with what I'm getting.
And the prospect as well of going to the hospice can be, for people, I think,
yes.
It's quite a scary thing, quite a big thing to do. How is it for you?
I thought that was a lovely experience. I was really quite surprised, and I was shown around, you know, we were, as a group, were shown around, and I just thought the whole thing was lovely. And I didn't feel, everybody was so ordinary, you know, you weren't, oh, you poor thing or anything. There's none of that, which is lovely. There would be, I'm sure, if you needed it. But they obviously know how to talk to people and how they feel, and pick up on that.
You've actually touched on it, but don't worry if you repeat anything you say. It's just one last question already, because St Richard's is a big name around here. Lots of people know it. Lots of families have been linked to it. What does it mean to people, families like yours?
Some people think that if you have to have St Richard's, oh dear. And I know that was the feeling a long time ago, because my neighbour of mine said something like this, and I said, people do come home from St Richard, you know, and stay at home in their own home. And this particular man that she'd been concerned about did, you know, so there's that side to it too, which people perhaps lose sight of. I mean, it's end-of-life care, but it's also helping you with your end-of-life care too, which I think is wonderful and done in such a lovely way. And you get lovely young women, and you get right through the age group, which is lovely.
Great. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Came out of hospital in January.
Yeah.
For a carer, is it quite daunting? Where do you turn?
Well, I knew there was something drastically wrong because she came out of hospital in a far worse medical state than when she went in, because she was additionally, apart from her heart, one kidney was affected by the cancer, and she wasn't eating and so on. But they said, okay, you're fit to be discharged, so that was a Saturday, of course the next day was Sunday. Nora wasn't eating at all, wouldn't eat, she was dehydrated, and next day was a Sunday, a bit difficult to rouse, but I got a doctor immediately on Monday, and
Did you ask for the St Hospice care, or did they offer it through the doctor?
Oh, the doctor. Our practice here in Upton is superb. I mean, the district nurses were in action as well. But
This must be quite a feeling of desperation, I think, at that point, of where you're going to get some help.
Yeah, and it's very difficult to say. You're still reacting to the reality of it, and of course, as time goes on, you get better at reacting if you understand.
And the nurses started coming. What difference has that made, not just to Nora, but to you?
Well, you're not alone, quite suddenly. There are people, I mean, they can't be part of the scenario of Nora and I together, but they're there, you know they're coming, you get to know them by name, you have a joke, have a cup of tea with them, and it's just an aura of support. That first week I was surrounded by family, and they seemed to be more concerned with how I was than anybody else, but we sorted that one out. And then of course family slowly, well, we've got lives to live, haven't they, and so on. Yes.
Does it take the pressure off you a bit as a carer, knowing that there are people there on the end of the phone who can be here as you know?
Oh yes. Yeah, I mean, between practice and district nurses and the hospice, I mean, it's wonderful to know that support is there, and you just assimilate it as if it's part of normal life, and the old life of. Well, Nora wasn't very good before Christmas, but she was a lot more normal than now. This is a new era, totally, and you just, it's very difficult to describe. It's got to be done. It's there. I mean, I do all sorts of bits and bobs to save her physically, and we discuss medicines. I've become medically educated.
And just one last question about the fact that she's at home. That helps her, obviously, but it helps you because you don't have to travel. She's getting the hospice care at home.
I wouldn't look at it like that. If I had to travel, I'd travel, and people would help me. I can't envisage her not being at home, and nor can she. And she's so much better now than she was. Eating and laughing and talking, but yes, it's another aspect of life. It's we had 2 years after we were married, we had a clear run with no cancer, but coming up to 7 years now since she was diagnosed, and that was another period, and now we're in another one, and it's to be lived as the best as we can, and I'm quite sure whatever's thrown at us, and we know, we discussed this, that the time ahead will not be the easiest, but we do know that there's people behind us who will help us to get through that period, whatever it may be.